The room is relationships. The room is you and me and everyone in America.
What are you talking about?
The room is different cookie cutter from Hollywood.
Yeah, man, you never know. People are very strange these days.
What's going on?
Welcome to The Room Minute.
The podcast where we get obsessed with the cinematic classic The Room.
1 minute at a time.
You have no idea what kind of trouble you're in here, do you?
Why are you so hysterical?
We always wanted people actually talk about it.
I did not hit her. It's not true. It's bullshit. I did not hit her. I did not. Oh, hi, Mark.
Oh, hi, listeners. We're here to talk about minute 59 of The Room, in which Peter plays psychologist again. And, as we'll learn later, a cigarette lighter has magic tricks up its sleeve. In the fake original script, we have just begun Act 3. Really, we're just continuing on the last scene. Essentially, Peter has followed Mark up to the roof. Mark has lit up a joint and is hanging out looking depressed.
So why doesn't Peter say, "Oh, hi, Mark"? He says, "Hey, Mark," but not, "Oh, hi, Mark."
Oh,
I really wanted to say, "Oh, hi,
hey,
Mark."
Eric, what's up?
Hey, yeah, hey, Robert.
That is an excellent question. I'm wondering if Peter, the actor, just happened to get away with that, since the original script doesn't actually exist anywhere online. Who knows?
And Peter, it was the psychiatrist person,
yes.
Right? I'm trying to remember. Yeah, that's why he's
Although he doesn't, when asked, he doesn't want to be the psychiatrist for the group. But then Tommy had accused him of always playing psychologist with them.
Peter, you always play psychologist with us.
And I don't know. He's what the scene needs him to be. Kind of like Mark in this scene. He's gonna go from depressed, quote unquote, smoking some weed to homicidal in the matter of seconds, and then right back. But we'll get to some of that next minute. Here we have a lovely conversation, very meaningful, between Peter and Mark.
Oh, the best of friends.
Starting with Peter's pronouncement.
It's a good place to think up here, isn't it?
Mark says,
"What, man, you want to put me on the clock?"
Which
then now that makes sense.
Yeah.
Now that line makes sense.
It's Peter punching the clock,
yeah.
In a sense, kind of. It's starting his work.
Yeah, 50 minutes. Tell me your problems, Mark.
I really did wonder about that, but I forgot that was his profession.
Mm-hmm. And then Peter asks him,
"What the hell is that?"
Because he sees that he's smoking.
Yeah.
Mark, of course, offers it some, because you got to.
"You want some? It's good, bro."
And Peter, he doesn't smoke that stuff.
"No, I don't smoke that stuff."
But then we get Peter being his best psychiatrist, or psychologist, or whatever he is. As he pronounces that Mark looks depressed.
"You look depressed."
Now, I have two questions. How does Mark look depressed? And what does depressed look like?
It looks like hot James Dean sitting against a wall. I think that is the most, brooding, hot everyman. I guess everyman. I don't know.
It's like the classic poster of James Dean, for that matter, is him standing with the leather jacket, and doesn't he have a cigarette in his hand in that poster?
He might.
I'm pretty sure he does. And that is what Tommy Wiseau wanted to be, was James Dean. So that fits.
The only last thing Mark or Greg could have done was pop his collar.
Oh yeah.
If he had just done that, then it would have been perfect. But that would have been maybe one step too far.
Yep, there's definitely a cigarette in James Dean's hand in that poster I'm thinking of. And there's another poster of him smoking, so yeah, it's definitely part of it. Although, we can assume, do we assume Mark is smoking? I mean, he could just be smoking tobacco.
That's what I thought, but then I was like, oh, I know.
I just assumed because he has some little box there that Mark doesn't feel like someone would roll his own cigarettes and smoke that, so I assume he's smoking marijuana. But the movie doesn't actually say that.
Maybe. I'm just surprised he's not wearing a leather jacket. He's wearing a Canadian tuxedo.
Yeah. Got all the denim.
Well, and speaking of what they're wearing, I think you mentioned it last minute, Alice, the Peter wearing the suit. Mm-hmm. And in relation to the smoking and possibly marijuana or even tobacco, I mean, it's actually in this day and age is more unlikely people to, it's more likely for people to turn down smoking tobacco versus marijuana, I think. But, when offered, especially.
Although this was in filmed in 2003.
Yeah, right.
So,
but it's just this kind of stereotype that a guy that's dressed up reasonably well as far as what at least older people believe, suits are meant to confer. But I mean, he's also got these glasses on and, kind of a somewhat nerdy or dorky what have you haircut. I mean, maybe even a little bit of a receding hairline, but.
Yeah, the movie has not established what Mark does for a living, so I say it's safe to assume he's homeless and jobless. He lives in his car. Yeah. Where we have seen him in a car. We haven't seen him in an apartment. So, what else is he gonna smoke, Let's create some stereotypes here. He's a aimless 20-something who smokes weed.
Well, however, in the minute that I was on previous, where he's laying in bed talking on the phone with Lisa.
Oh, that's right. We did see him in a bed.
I mean, it's not much of an apartment. You can't really tell exactly what the full accommodations are, but
that's a good point. Yeah, we did. I mean, we didn't see the room around it, but we can assume it was in a room. It was big enough for him to lay down in the dark, so probably not his car. Could be in a U-Haul trailer behind his car. Yeah. He just got a mattress and a candle in there, so I can pretend he has an apartment.
Wait, so it's an apartment? Because now I'm trying to figure out the whole building's structure. So Tommy lives, or Johnny lives in not a house, it's an apartment, but it's an apartment building, but there's a door that looks like it's the front door out. I'm trying to figure out what the whole structure is of this building.
It's almost more of a row house.
A row house.
I would guess it's more of a row house.
I don't know what that means, but.
Well, I mean, generally it's more like more like maybe like a townhouse,
townhouse,
but they're all built together, it's a big,
but a tall townhouse, cause now I'm like, wait, what did Peter just come out of?
This does seem taller though. Too.
Well, Peter came from the stairs that go into the building.
2 or 3 floors.
Although there are no stairs there for the purpose of filming. It's just they take 2 steps down and hope that the camera cuts away. As to how big the building is, that's a good question because
it looks like a not skyscraper, but like a tall apartment building. Might as well be, yeah.
We know that Johnny and Lisa live here, and their apartment has 2 floors. And at least 4 rooms.
Yeah.
Though we're not sure what one of those rooms is. We call it the chair and alcohol storage room.
It's where they keep the spoons.
Yeah. That hallway is either really well lit or their front door does go outside. Hard to tell. Doesn't seem to match the appearance of the building they used for the front of it in San Francisco.
Yeah.
We do know also that Denny lives in this building. Mm-hmm. So somewhere there's at least one more apartment. And I don't think it was ever said, but it was implied that, or maybe we just made that up, that Mark also lives in the building. Mm. We might have made that up.
Yeah, because I was thinking even like with the last minute, like that front door or I assume is the front door that wasn't closing. Like I was like, is that the door out to, I imagine like a yard and grass and a front yard, but maybe not, so.
I mean, it's also possible. I mean, I don't know how common this is in San Francisco that it's a multi-story apartment thing in front and then Johnny, maybe he owns the building and so he lives in like a little house in the back.
Like a terrace, yeah.
That's separate. But it looks like it's a floor outside the door. We never get a good look at it because they don't angle the camera down a lot. Really out that door is a parking lot and where they're filming, which is, you can occasionally hear the cars going by, but that's fine. Cars go by places. Next minute we'll get a good look at how wide this roof is. It's not very wide.
Yeah.
This roof is very small. Mm-hmm. Smaller than the apartment, which is a problem.
Well, the roof could be broken up into partitions based on, lower levels being smaller themselves.
And we never do see one corner of the roof.
We don't know how many flights are walking up in this.
Yeah, and we never see the one corner of the roof, so it could have another little staircase or ladder to a lower section or something. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's hard to say because none of it's real. And we just look, what else are you going to look at when you see Peter and Mark trying to talk about depression? Because Mark's got a sick feeling in his stomach.
I got this sick feeling in my stomach, man. I did something awful. I don't think I can forgive myself.
Which Peter, of course, wants to hear about because Peter is a gossip.
A gossip therapist.
Or a psychiatrist.
Like any good psychiatrist.
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
They just love to gossip.
And then Mark says,
I just feel like running. Killing myself. Something crazy like that.
And Peter doesn't even push us. This turns into an anti-drug PSA more than, it wasn't well, what did you do? What did you do? It was just more like, that stuff's bad for you. Yeah, whatever. You want to kill yourself, but that stuff's bad for you. This is an anti-drug commercial.
Oh, yeah. We get cut off mid-line on the minute, but yeah, Peter's line is, why are you smoking that crap? It's no wonder you can't think straight. It's gonna screw with your head.
Mm-hmm.
So...
This is your brain on drugs.
Yeah.
This movie.
That's what this scene is. When next minute, when he pushes Peter over the edge of the roof, it just cut to, this is your brain on drugs. Don't be Mark. And Mark gets, as soon as Peter tells him to tell me about it. I was on Bat Minute recently, and they had a scene like this where Chase Meridian is talking, and Bruce finally starts to talk to her, but every time he starts talking, he walks away. I'm like, that's not how you should do therapy. Mark is just like that. As soon as he starts talking, he walks away. I'm like, I think Peter should just leave him alone. I'm like, you're asking for him to throw you off a roof. Stupid Peter. Now, we have other stuff to talk about on Friday, so I have a question for you. Do you think, I've talked before about re-editing the movie sometime near the end of this show?
Because of the long hiatus. That edit has already been completed at this point, but we will keep talking about it for many episodes to come, as if it hasn't been done yet.
And I'm wondering, you think we should cut this scene so it looks like Peter actually dies? We'd have to cut out the throwing football and tuxedo scene, because he's there. Mm-hmm. But I think I can edit him out of the first tuxedo scene, so that maybe the tuxedos are like, it's for his funeral. Because Peter disappears from the movie.
What do you mean? Oh, he disappears after...
He's in two more scenes. He's in the scene where Mark comes in clean shaven and they're all got their tuxedos, and then he's in the scene outside where they are in their tuxedos playing football. And then he's gone, because the actor had another project to work on. So he left. And his character gets replaced by Steven, who just says the lines that Peter was supposed to say.
Oh.
And I'm like, I wonder if I can make it look like he died. Like, Mark's a murderer.
So instead of the no, it's okay, cool, it's fine,
Although then... We'll get this next minute, but then we'll miss the most genuine apology ever.
Oh, yeah.
So, I don't know if I want to cut that. Any other notes on the content of minute 59? That's not a lot, just a little conversation.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, definitely your take on it. That's what you can say for drugs. That's the best thing. It's, cause otherwise it's pretty kind of bad acting, depressing.
We gotta remember this was written by a guy who's, in his 50s?
Yeah.
So, he assumes, you're smoking dope, something bad's gonna happen.
And what's right above him? Is it that was the box and the lighter? Cause that's
yes.
You noticing, yeah. What a weird box that is, yeah.
What a lot of fans think is that he literally hides his stash on the roof.
Oh.
And so that little box is his stash of stuff, and he hides it behind a plant or somewhere up here.
Oh, okay.
Or at least takes it up there to smoke.
I was like, that's not going to end in disaster when it falls off the roof.
It's okay. It's magical. As we'll learn in Notes from a Midnight Screening.
Notes from a Midnight Screening.
At the beginning of this minute, we get the audience screaming, teleporting lighter, because every time the angle changes on Mark, his lighter has shifted positions.
Oh.
And so it jumps from next to the box to in front of the box to next to the box to in front of the box.
Oh, yeah.
And it just keeps going back and forth. And if you have a good enough audience, they get really excited each time, they're shocked every time, whoa, did you see that? And they're reacting as if they don't expect it to happen, which is wonderful.
That's amazing. I didn't even notice that.
Yeah.
Maybe he hallucinated Peter. That's what it is. That's the kind of drugs he's on.
Hallucinate, almost murdering him.
Peter's not even real.
Yeah. Peter wasn't even real. He's their inner monologue. Yeah. Everyone.
When it cuts to the shot next minute and Mark says sorry, I'll edit out Peter digitally.
He's wrestling with his demons, yeah. He's talking to himself.
The room minus Peter.
No, we'll keep him earlier, so it's even weirder that he's just gone. It's already weird that he disappears.
Is there any character you could just take out?
Yes.
Yeah. Any character, you take out Lisa. They're just like, well, you're tearing me apart, Lisa. Who?
You might have a problem with the party scene later, but you could actually cut Lisa's mother and some of it would make more sense. You could cut out Michelle and it would make more sense.
Denny.
I don't think you can't cut out both because you need Lisa to have someone to talk to.
Yeah.
Unless we want to go Lisa is the full villain as Tommy Wiseau would want it, and then we cut both of them so that we never know Lisa's motivation.
Just Lisa in a room, I have breast cancer?
Well, I can't add scenes. My favorite note from Midnight Screening in this minute, though, is nothing to do with the magic lighter. It's when Mark says...
I just feel like running.
And someone at the screening that I was taking notes on is like, in all that denim?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he ain't running in that outfit. We do see he does have clothes for running later. Mm-hmm. We get a running montage, but we're not there yet. I don't even remember how far off that is. And we get at the end of this minute when he's saying he's like thinking,
killing myself. Something crazy like that.
You gotta scream focus because once again, as many times in this film, the shot is out of focus. Because of course they had 2 cameras pointed at the target. Really hard to focus that. With that being said, we're coming up on the hour mark of this movie, which is awesome. One more time, Alice, the listeners want to hear more from you. Where can they do it?
Yeah, I post probably, I think, all my podcast appearances on my Twitter at AliMezh, ALIMEZH. You can also find me on Facebook at Alice Lauren. I'm on the Now You've Seen It podcast, which is all about movies, talking to people who have never seen the movie, and so it's on their first viewing.
And Eric, where can they hear you?
So my other podcast of 3 that is essentially done. I definitely went through minute by minute the movie Watchmen from 2009, Zack Snyder superhero movie. Did that with Travis Bowe, and we went through that minute by minute, just like this movie's doing. But we went through it 186 minutes of the director's cut. And, but we did also come back though for the, recent, excellent HBO show. I mean, I really think I like that better than the movie at this point. But I love the comic book most. We just did episode by episode of the, 9-part TV show, HBO TV show, Watchmen. And you should check that out there. We may still come back. I think that's still a possibility of, doing kind of an end recapper of for that whole, single season supposedly. And you never know, maybe something else like the Doomsday Clock recent comic book that ended not too long ago.
So there's nothing wrong when people make fun of the project, in this case, The Room.
The Room Minute is a production of Lemming Drops Studio. You can find more content at lemmingdrops.com.
Follow The Room Minute on all the obvious social media. If you've got any stupid comments after the show,
you can leave them in your pocket on Facebook. If you like what you hear, throw us a rating and a review on your podcatcher of choice. Thank you for listening, and remember, if a lot of people loved each other, the world would be a better place to live.
Leave us!